Welcome to Maximizing Your Contractor Revenue via Trip Leasing. This series was developed specifically for independent contractor truck drivers and is brought to you by Black Cream. The purpose of this series is first and foremost to inspire. And right behind that, it is to provide knowledge and share successes achieved in applying some of these practices around trip leasing. And lastly, to be a guide for implementing these practices in your business. Why is it important to maximize your revenue? Well, currently the market's rates for freight, they're lower, they're stagnant, volume is low, there's more downtime between loads, lower mileage hauls, businesses are utilizing more efficient and lower cost options for transport, like rail or using a different mode of transport. There's increased operational costs, fuel, insurance, etc. So it's kind of challenging right now. So what can I do? I have a question for you. As an independent contractor leased on to a carrier, can you haul loads for any other carrier? Well, I used to think the answer to that question was no. And that was based upon information that was presented to me by those that have been involved in the industry longer than me. And I just sort of accepted what they said on face value. That was until I started the process to lease my equipment onto a carrier. So 3 years ago, after about a year of going back and forth as to whether or not I wanted to move from being a company driver to an independent contractor, owner operator, I decided to lease on to quality carriers. I worked there as a company driver for about 7 months. I liked aspects of the business of the company, and then there were some things that I didn't like. And a lot of things I didn't like just had to deal with things being a company driver and having to do things the way that they have them to do. And so I made the decision that I was going to purchase a truck to lease on to them and basically have some continuity between being a company driver there and being an independent contractor. So their independent contractor agreement is it's less than 50 pages. I took my time going through it. I spread out all the pages on the table and I was reading each one. I was highlighting them. I would write questions to things and get them answered. And that was a process that I went through for several weeks. And then I came across page 22, section 13. Now, for the people that currently work at quality carriers or who are looking to work at quality carriers, this is an Easter egg for you. It's right there in your contract. So on page 22, and I'm going to read it with you, section 13, there was something called alternative equipment use. And when I asked about what that meant, because I was just going on what I read, and again, we're going to read it in a little bit, I was told that no one had ever asked that question before, which I was surprised and shocked because Quality Carriers has been around for quite some time, but that's what I was told. No one else had ever asked about it. So let me read it. And it goes back to that question. As an independent contractor leased on to a carrier, can you haul loads for anyone else? Except as restricted by applicable law, nothing in this agreement prohibits contractor from providing transportation services for other motor carriers, brokers, directly for shippers, or any other person or entity, provided that contractor complies with the requirements of 49 CFR Part 376. For this purpose, carrier has prepared an addendum for alternative uses of equipment, which is available upon request. What? So what that sounds to me is that as an independent contractor leased onto a carrier, that you can haul loads for someone else. So this was quite a surprise. And it served as a point of inspiration for me. So when I asked for the additional information, it turns out because no one had ever asked that question, there was no addendum for alternative uses of equipment, and that the various terminals had to get representation together to form a committee that would put together the policy for alternative equipment use. So that process took about 6 months. So there was another piece of inspiration. And that occurred when I had taken a load out to California, and I had to deadhead about 1,500 miles from Los Angeles, California to Houston, Texas. And on top of that, because the deadhead from Los Angeles to Houston was my worst case scenario, but I ended up waiting an additional 10 days to secure a load because I couldn't get a load off the load board. I couldn't get dispatch to dispatch me a load. There was nothing available. And at that time, I just made the decision that I was not going to drive anymore for free. So this became a catalytic inspiration for change. And that in my heart and in my head, I said, well, this won't happen again if I can help it. And around that same time, ironically, is when Quality Carriers came with drafts of the addendum to alternative equipment use. So I'm going to end this part of the series by asking you 2 questions. How can you take greater responsibility and control of your business? And what is your catalytic inspiration for change? Thank you for listening. Please subscribe to our channel to be notified of the next video in the series. So check us out. And again, thank you for your listening ear, and thank you for your investment in time. God's best to you.